Hi guys, I'm Yasmin Gamboa and I am back with another video. So I'm going to sit here and film videos back to back because I'm a mother, honey. I am a mother and a wife and I have to film when I have time. This sit down moment, I am not going to do a Bible study, but I do plan on doing a Bible study, soon. So in this one, I wanted to talk about witches and basically how to protect yourself against witches because I was under attack for literal years and did not know because I wasn't fasting. I had went on like small little fast, but I was never doing the biblical fast of Isaiah 58. And when I finally did, God just revealed what was already in front of my face. And I just couldn't believe it was right in front of my face, and I was just so naive and so ignorant to the devices of the devil. So I was just so ignorant and blinded to the devices of the devil. I knew that witches exist, but I always thought that they were just playing a character. They just look at it as like an aesthetic. Because the witches that I came across in real life who call themselves witches or like Halloween decor queens and just pumpkins and the color black. So I'm like, you ain't really about nothing, honey. Was I wrong? Yes. Now, when I tell you who the witch that was doing the witchcraft against me, my marriage, my husband, my son, my body, you're gonna be like, what? It is my mother-in-law. And God revealed that to me when I was on my 40-day fast. Now, I didn't realize how much of a real witch she was until that 40-day fast. When me and my husband first got together, he told me, he was so scared to tell me, hey, my sister is this self-proclaimed witch. She just got into this stuff and I'm not down with it. He made it very clear he is a man of God. He's rocking with Jesus Christ, period. Now, when we met, I was 25. He was 24. I mean, I was 25. I was 24. He was 25. And so I'm just young, listen, you rocking with Jesus. I don't care what your family got going on. Now, it was meant for me to meet him at that age and be naive because God put us together and he isn't unworthy just because of the family he comes from. And I am not. Am I saying that right? He isn't. And I am not unworthy because of the family that I come from. So it's good for us that I didn't have the brain that I have now and the spiritual awareness that I have now because, honey, that would have been, you done. Okay. But God also told me before we went on our first date that he was my husband and he knew day one I was his wife. I didn't tell him that though, because I was like, Jesus, I don't know if I'm ready for this. So I wasn't that girl that's did you guys say you're my husband? I did not tell him, okay? I kept that to myself and let him prove himself worthy. And he did. He does come from a wicked family. And by the grace of God, he's nothing like them. He would always tell me, he don't know no kid that prayed as much as he prayed and that just loved God as much as he's loved God. And it just shows that if you come from a bad family, if you just keep your faith in God, he will protect you and cover you and let you create your own family. Because one day, a man is going to uncleave from his mother and father and cleave onto his wife. So he's going to leave them one day when he grew up anyway. And because he was a man of God during his youth and praying so much and reading the Bible, he read the whole Bible, almost the whole Bible, before he was even 16 or something. So, because he had such a different home life, So he told me this. He was honest with me. But I just thought, when I met her, she's just into the color black and pumpkins, and this is nothing to worry about, basically. And his mom at the time, she wasn't in witchcraft at all when we met. I would say after we were together for like 1 year, that's when she started getting into it. But for me, I just thought it was like an aesthetic. She's burning sage, buying crystals and tarot cards. Now, from what I know now, that's a big no-no. But it gets even worse. When we moved down to North Carolina, it was this whole chaotic thing that happened. And if you want to tell that, I can, but it's too much to put inside this video. So we came down here, we got our house after we lived with them for like 3 months looking for a house, because at that time, this was after COVID. It's thundering outside, just in case you hear that. But this was right after COVID. Even trying to rent a house was like, the whole housing market, buying, renting was crazy. We was house hunting, couldn't find a house. So we stayed with them for like 3 months. They offered for us to live with them while we house hunted, basically, which was a terrible thing for us to do, hindsight. But when I went on my 40-day fast, God was just like telling me over and over and over that she's the one behind the altars. She's the one. And I'm like, God, no. And then he's like, yes. He just kept telling me over and over and over. And as this was happening, she was actively still sending a text to me. They kind of eased up now because witch has no power against a child of God when you're actively doing what you have to do. You got to pray and fast, and you got to fight back in the spirit. I was never fighting back in the spirit. Okay, so let me tell you some things that I did in the physical realm to check out what God was revealing to me in the spiritual realm. I went to her Instagram because she always had like witchy stuff up, but I've been blocked her pages. So I went to go look, and I see she has voodoo dolls on her Instagram. She has witch spell books, and a bunch of just witchcraft stuff, right? And then around this time, me and my husband were trying to decide if we're going to let her be around our child again, because at one point she was babysitting them. But God had said no, because they were setting up a plan to do something that we told her not to do, which is have our son meet one of her daughters, and it was just a big no-no. And before that can happen, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So God revealed that to me, and I kept telling my husband, something about to happen. And God said, quit your job and get your baby. Okay, so that's what I did. And he told me, he literally said, if you don't get your baby from this lady, you're going to be sacrificing him. So I quit my job that same day, and I've been a housewife again ever since then. Because I was a housewife before that, but God told me to go to work. So I went to work. Okay. So I forgot where I was at. How God revealed to me in the spiritual. The physical. So the Instagram thing, and this was like the last time I told my husband, okay, this is your mom. You can take him over there, but you have to stay with him. He took him over there, and he came home with some books and some whatever for my son, and then like a bag of aloe vera plant that she's planting, right? That same day, or like the next day, that same day, our doorknob broke off the front door, our toilet handle broke, and I was like, baby, there's some witchcraft happening. I'm trying to tell you, God already told me it's your mom. So what did she give to you that has witchcraft on it? And he was like, you know what? When we was living in her house, one day we came in the house and he turned the door. He said he didn't move it that hard. The door just fell off. So he was like, that happened again. I think that's coming from her house. I'm like, okay. I went around and I threw everything away that she gave. She gave diapers and a book, and I just threw it in the trash. But when I picked up the aloe vera, there was like this dark, strong energy that was just so heavy. And I was like, baby, this is what the witchcraft is. And I threw it in the trash. So my son hasn't been back over there ever since. And if I'm being honest, my husband has been making me aware of the bad family that he came from since the very beginning. But because I didn't personally experience it, I was like, oh, that's your mom. Call your mom. Or, oh, you know, as a believer, number one, yes, encourage relationships, but don't encourage. If somebody goes against Jesus Christ, it don't matter who they are. Don't try to. And they already said they're not going to change or not. Don't try to force it because you're only going to harm yourself. So by us interacting and being around them, she thought that she could just continue to do witchcraft on us because we're allowing her in our life. And when I tell you, there's so many things that family has done. There's so many things that they did when we got engaged. They dragged in his ex-girlfriend from high school to cause drama. When we announced our pregnancy, they trying to cause drama. His mom constantly sending pictures of our son to his sisters. They're not in contact, they're no contact. It's just so much stuff, right? But we were wrong because we were constantly allowing them to be in our lives because of the title of mom, dad, this and that, right? So what is the purpose of me telling you this story? Sometimes there's people close to you that's doing witchcraft on you. Sometimes things are going wrong because you're not protecting yourself spiritually and you're not discerning. For me, I was aware, okay, that whole side always gave jealous vibes. They always gave the vibe that they wanted us to break up and for him to get back with his ex-girlfriend. Why? Is it because I'm bad for him? No. It's because I'm good for him. And they want to see him down where they're at. And they want to tear him down, And it's sad that that's his family. That's my in-laws. But when God reveals me, I was like, okay, I'm done. So again, I'm going to tell you the story. You need to pray and you need to fast as a believer of Christ. If you are not building yourself up to fast, you are missing out on so many blessings in your life because generational curses just pass on and pass on and pass on. If you say, hey, my mom not married, my dad not married to nobody, grandma, grandpa, sisters, cousins not married, generational curse. If you say, hey, my family been poor, living in poverty, living in the hood, my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, my great. If everybody broke, generational curse. Okay? If people having kids at 35 and nobody having kids at 20, generational curse. If anything, and that's another thing too, anything can become a generational curse. Anything can become a generational curse. Literally, me and my husband had bought 2 cars throughout this marriage so far. Or 3. 2 or 3 cars, right? But I haven't had my own personal car. Not because I can't get one, because I just didn't want one. My husband drives me everywhere. It's fine. But God revealed to me, that's a generational curse. My mom and dad share a car. The devil wants to trick me out of a position to have my own. And I didn't view it that way because I viewed what happened in my bloodline as normal. You just get a car, you share a car, it's not that big of a deal. Why pay for 2 things? And yes, financially, that's a great way to think about it. But when that small thing is a curse because the devil, there were times I was going to get me certain cars, right? And it didn't work out. That was the devil attacking. That's what God revealed to me, right? So anything in your bloodline could become a generational curse is what I'm trying to say to you. You don't become aware of it because you think it's normal until you fast. And I'm talking about the Isaiah 58 biblical way of fasting, where you have to not gossip, not fight, not argue. You got to give to the needy, clothes, food, shelter, something. And I'm trying to tell you, the shackles are going to break off. And when I went on a 40-day fast, first of all, I never in my life that I would go on a 40-day fast. At that time, I think I was only fasting like one day, like every couple of months or so, right? And then before I started the 40-day fast, I went on a 3-day fast. And then God was like, he kept saying 40-day fast, 40-day fast, 40-day fast. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I could do that, Jesus. You're asking so much of me. Literally. And but I did it, and it was life-changing. And my husband had seen the blessings that had came from it. Like, God had blessed us with so much different money unexpected money coming in, and blessed us with just so many miracles. And it's not about the money. It's just about knowing that you are saving your bloodline for your kids. And I think I became so much more wiser when I became a mom, because when I had my son, it was so traumatic. If you want to see that video, I think that's on, I have so many YouTube pages. That's on my Yasmin and Yanni YouTube page. I will link it down below. I almost died when I gave birth to my son. It was traumatic, but God told me during that process, like, you're going to be okay. You're not going to die. Like, you're okay. And he just was with me throughout that time. And I just really built my faith during that time, because around that time, God had saved me from the New Age movement. And he literally saved my life physically after I gave birth, right? So that's when God had became my own personal Lord and Savior. He wasn't just some man in a book. This wasn't just no religious holy moly crap, you know? It became the living word to me. It became the truth to me, because I always knew he was real. I always knew he existed. But when he personally came back to save me, and it became tangible, and it became undeniable, I feel like I've grown my faith. I've grown my trust in him, because he has shown that he will protect me. He has shown that not only did he save me by dying on the cross, but he saved me multiple times in this life, and he has forgiven me personally for things ignorant. My people perish for lack of knowledge. I could have perished by being ignorant, being in the New Age movement, but he came back and saved me, right? So, like, I'm going on a bunch of tangents, but I'm just letting the conversation flow like you're right here with me. So when I went on that 40-day fast, it started off slow with like little revelations. But as I started getting towards the end, I started getting attack after attack after attack each night, waking up at 2:30, 3 a.m. I even had to wake my husband up. Like, I remember this one night, I'm like, babe, get up, we gotta pray. So we praying at like 3 a.m. He went back to sleep, and his ex-girlfriend from high school had astral projected in his dream. And he was like, baby, it's so crazy that you woke me up and you told me to pray, and we prayed together, and then that happened. I'm like, baby, that's not a coincidence. That's God. I'm getting chills. That's God protecting us, because the enemy in your sleep tries to get you to come into agreements with him. He's trying to get you to either sign a contract on the paper, or eat some food in the dream, or have sex in the dream, or be doing things from your past, like a house you grew up in, or being in your own neighborhood, or just being with your family members in a house group. Like, all of that is signs of delay, backwardness, and evil covenants and altars. So during that time, I was having so many dreams like that. And my mother-in-law was just kept coming up in the dream. And I'm like, God, I prayed. I said, God, who's behind these altars that has snatched some things from me that I was supposed to have? Who's behind these altars that is delaying my progress? Like, what? Because a lot of times you go through life and you like thinking that you're just in this cycle because you're in the cycle. No, sometimes somebody's doing witchcraft against you, or not sometimes. It's witchcraft, or it's a generational curse, period. If you're constantly going through the same thing over and over, can't never get ahead in life, that's not the way it's supposed to be, right? So, excuse me. So I'm praying, and God kept saying my mother-in-law name over and over. And I'm telling my husband, like, babe, I don't want to just sound like I just hate this lady, because I don't. I forgave her. It was hard because, like, I never even got close to hating a person in my life. But I got close with that lady. I got close. But for my own salvation, I had to forgive, because unforgiveness is an open doorway for the enemy to infiltrate your heart. And once that hatred is in your heart, he has legal right to attack you through the unforgiveness. So I'm like, you already snatched my blessings enough, honey. You ain't gonna snatch it through me hating you. So it was easy to forgive her. But the only way I was like bold enough to completely like be done, because before I was like still being cordial, like, you know, me and my husband, we were pretty uncomfortable with this. We don't really want to have a relationship with you, but we'll let you see our son and this and that. Like, I'm still being like a little passive, because I'm just like, so it's okay. Like, I don't have to like her for her to spend time with my son, But when I found out the witchcraft, I said, oh, you want to see me fail bad. You want to see me dead. You want to see me divorced. Okay? So she was doing witchcraft on our marriage. Like, she was trying to have us be divorced. This is what was revealed to me. She was doing witchcraft to try to make us have a bad sex life. Witchcraft, so that I won't have any more kids. And witchcraft on finances and education. So basically every area of your life, honey, she was trying to take your girl down. She was trying to take me down. Which is awesome when they're going to take my husband down, because we are one, honey. We won. And when God revealed that, I was just like, okay, I have no problem with cutting the cord completely. Because before, I was constantly telling my husband, you know what, that's your mom. I'm going to be nice. That's your mom. It's not that big of a deal. Well, that happened, I said, enough is enough, honey. The time has come. Which he was already fine with, because he was telling me this whole time, I don't want a relationship with these people. Literally, I was the one telling him, text your mom Happy Mother's Day. Text Merry Christmas. When I gave birth, I was like, say, FaceTime your mom. He was like, no. And I'm like, FaceTime your mom. People know their family better than you know them. So just trust their judgment. If somebody is done with their family, it's for a reason. Not everybody comes from a good family, and that is okay. You have to trust their experience and do not invalidate them, because your perception is different because you were raised in a different type of house. You get what I'm saying? You cannot invalidate them. They know them more. They lived with them. They know them. They know their wicked ways or their godly ways. So you can't invalidate. You have to trust their judgment and their guidance, right? So I was like, baby, I'm sorry, because I was definitely forcing you to be cordial and nice and this and that. And you knew this whole time. And I told him, I said, I think this is why God had us live with them for those 3 months when we was looking for a house, because I would have never seen how evil they truly were. Like, I would have never, because they always put on the front when we came to visit. It was always, I knew there was something off, but I didn't know it was that bad until we lived together. So, again, somebody could be in your circle, like knowing things about you, being close in your presence, and actively trying to take you down in the spirit realm. And the only way you can defeat them is prayer and fasting, okay? And when you have these dreams, don't just have these dreams and like, oh my God, somebody's doing witchcraft against me. No. Have these dreams and cancel the contract, covenants, and agreements. Cancel the assignments. Break the covenant. Come out of agreement. And right, you guys, I'm going to end it right here because I definitely was long-winded with this video. But again, I'm Yasmin Gimpo. If you want to hear like more detailed explanations of like the actual mental abuse that me and my husband endured during those 3 months, because that was our wilderness season, honey. Like, we went to go stay with my sister for a little bit because I was going to pay and get it. I called my mom. I said, Mom, we're going to just get an Airbnb and pay until we find a house down here. Because what happened was, before I ended this video, I know I've been long-winded. What happened was, you probably, why'd y'all go live with them? Y'all grown as, I don't know what. Okay. We were living in Philadelphia. We were planning to move down. And when God said go, we didn't go. We were scared, okay? So he said go in April. We didn't go. We didn't come till August. And his mom was just like, you guys can stay. Because mind you, we had just visited in April as well. And we toured some apartments and different stuff and townhouses. And his mom was like, you guys can stay with us. Now, what person is not going to... It's not like we're planning to stay there for like years. So what person is not going to take free housing where we're not just leeches, we provided groceries and we helped clean up the house, while we actively are looking for a house. And it's not just a regular time. This is COVID, like, just ended, and the housing market is the worst, and everything gets snatched up like so fast. Which really, the house that I really want got snatched up. Well, I'm still mad about that. But this one was meant to be, right? So, literally every day we was off, we was house hunting. So, it's not just a random while you living with them. And then we was visiting multiple times. And they were amazed. And we could do this. So we could do this. When I tell you, it wasn't even 2 weeks shot and switched up so bad. So, how you go from 2 weeks to 3 months? The reason why we were able to last for 3 months is because my sister lived about 2 hours away, and we just stayed over there, like, back and forth. So we wasn't there all the time. But yeah, I was about to just spend my money. I said, Mom, I'm going to just pay Airbnb for a month, 2 months while we look. And my mom was like, no, you shouldn't do that. You're going to be spending your savings. You need to just stay at your sister's house. My mom had suggested that we stay at my sister's house, so we could, don't have to spend any money. I will say, sometimes being cheap costs you more in the long run, because I will never do that. I would never do that again, ever. I would never if a guy say go, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to wait because circumstances changed. Like, when God said go, like, everything was perfectly lined up. Like, my husband's job, everything. This time is like, when we decided to move later, it was like, when we decided to come, the window was longer where my husband didn't start the job yet. And then I ended up deciding to work, and it was the whole thing. But if you want to hear, like, all of this and all these details of our wilderness season, I will gladly tell you, even though it is very traumatizing, but I have forgiven them all. Oof, I tell y'all this, child, y'all gonna be like, what? But they are forgiven. They do not have to answer to me. They have to answer to Christ, and it's okay because he got my back. And yeah, it was a crazy time. I will never do that again. I learned my lesson from living under somebody else's roof, and I learned to be more spiritually guarded, really wear the armor of God. Like, this is a real battle versus good and evil. You're with God or you're against them. And that's why I was lukewarm in Jesus, because you are neither lukewarm, hot, nor cold. You can't be. I'm going to spit you out. And that just means there is no in between. There is no middle. You got to just pick Jesus. You got to pick him. Because if you don't pick him, he's not going to pick you. If you question and going back and forth, why owe you something? All right, y'all, this is the real long-winded. I'll see y'all in the next episode. I love you. Bye.